The appraisal master picked up a broken jar, then used his cane to lift it up. Just as he listened closely for any sound, he suddenly heard the sound of rice washing from 1,000 years ago. Startled, he immediately put the jar down and blurted out a 5 million estimate. Next, he picked up a chamber pot. This time he used his tongue, trained by 30 years of experience, and gently blew into the pot's opening. Before anyone could react, he had already identified it as a eunuch's personal item. But even though the master had sharp eyes, he was still no match for his grandson. The boy held a phoenix-patterned jade bowl, and in just a few words silenced a room full of antique experts. Even the master himself couldn't hide his shock. Yet this child prodigy was never truly accepted by the family, just because his mother had him out of wedlock and kept losing money in the company entrusted to her. In his grandfather's eyes, the mother and son were never real family, but the boy was incredibly mature. After school, he'd head straight to the antique market to practice spotting treasures. In just 1 year, he had already earned tens of millions through his skills, but that money still wasn't enough to cover the company's losses, until his grandfather's birthday arrived, and an antique appraisal competition quietly began. This contest would determine the company's ownership. The rules were clear. Each person would choose 5 antiques, and the one with the highest total appraisal would win. If his mother lost, the company would be taken back for good. The woman knew this was a way to push her out, but she had no choice but to go through with it. She had no idea what her son was truly capable of, so she had to rely on herself. And so the appraisal banquet began. To win control of the company, her younger brother went first, and immediately chose a blue and white porcelain piece. Hitting the mark, he picked an extremely valuable item, but the boy looked on with disdain, because he knew the most valuable piece there was something no one else could recognize. Just as he expected, even his uncle had avoided that treasure entirely. Soon it was his mother's turn. The boy grew anxious, because both of her first picks were fakes. Even when she saw a genuine painting, she hesitated, but his mother just glanced and gave up on it. Thankfully, she ended up choosing that painting after all, but its value was far below the 5 genuine pieces her brother had picked. If she kept choosing on her own, this competition would surely be lost. The boy immediately suggested that he make the final pick himself. The woman hesitated, but in the end gave him the last chance. She never imagined this decision would lead her to an unexpected victory. The boy didn't hesitate. He walked straight to a stone pillow, examined it carefully, and handed it in. With all antiques selected, the appraisal phase began, with the grandfather himself presiding as judge. He glanced at the pieces his daughter had chosen, and turned to the brother's side with a sigh and a shake of his head.